Hello everybody and welcome back to Super Tech Services. This is Brian and we have another great video for you. So on today's video I'm just going to be going over some tips and tricks on how to install firmware correctly. I get a lot of people sending me emails and they have some trouble installing it, so I'm just going to show you a couple tips on how to install it correctly. So let's get started. Okay, so number one tip, get yourself a good flash drive because not all flash drives work. So I use these Patriot 16 gigabyte flash drives or SanDisk. Just get you a good reputable quality one. Sometimes you may have to try one or two different brands, so just beware, not all flash drives work. Alright, and next up, we're going to head on over to the computer and then I'm going to show you how to format it properly. So place your USB drive into a computer and you might see just any files that you see there. We're going to go ahead and format it. So just click on it and click on format, and the main thing is you want to do here is make sure that it's formatted for FAT32, and that's pretty much all you have to do. And you can change the volume label if you would like, and you can do a quick format, that's also fine. So once again, just make sure it's formatted for FAT32 and that everything gets erased using a quick format. That only takes a second. You'll see the message pop up like so. Then you can go ahead, eject your disk, and then just put it back in. I like to remove it, then put it back in after a format. Alright, now you'll see we have the new volume label that says firmware and nothing's on the drive. So this will be where you're going to go into the firmware that you received and extract it already. You'll see it looks like that. Just go into that menu there and you'll see the firmware with all these different files there. So you're just going to want to copy all these. Just select all, copy them all. Copy them like so. Then you're going to want to go over back to the flash drive and paste them in there just like that. This is what's called the root. So you're going to paste that into the root drive of your new firmware file. And this will take a while, so just be patient. Depending on the speed of your computer, can take a while. And when it's done, that's all you have to do. Just eject the disk and go ahead and put it into your copier. Okay, so step 4, other ways to load firmware. So in this method, you're going to actually create a firmware folder. So you'll have an empty root drive. Just go ahead and create a folder called firmware. And then you'll open it up and you'll place the firmware on the inside of that folder. So this applies to like BizHub 4050, MFPs, and some of the other printers. It will let you know in the service manual to do this. And you'll basically just copy the firmware files and put them into the firmware folder like I'm doing so, and you just paste it in. If you do not do it this way, it will not work. You'll see the machine will boot up like normal. So this is just another way, another machine, another different procedure. So that you'll see this happen on some other type machines. Okay, next up, you're just going to want to go ahead and remove the screw. So another question we get is where to put the firmware, and it'll be right in the port you're seeing there. Do not use any other USB port. It'll be the USB port with a screw that you lift up. Some models also allow you to use the front USB. Okay, now you'll turn the power on. It will take a while, so don't panic either. It can take a couple minutes for you to get to this screen. And if you got to this screen, you did everything right, your flash drive is working, and your firmware will be ready to start. You can check the version with the button I just selected there. You can check your language select there. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and press start. And same thing, it will say downloading. Do not turn off the power or remove the flash drive until every single one of these, the MFP controller, scanner, printer, ADF, all finish downloading. You will see a blue start button like you see below. Don't be confused. Sometimes you might accidentally think it's done when it's not. So once again, let it finish completely and it will look just like this. You'll make sure everything that says download completed. If you do get an error on something that says finisher no good or NG, turn off the power, remove the finisher, reinstall the firmware without the finisher attached, and see if everything takes fine. Same thing if you get a no good on any other one of the options there. Just do a reboot. Now, there are some machines, some of the newer machines do require you to press the stop button before the firmware will load. So that's another key point. If yours doesn't load by leaving it in, try to turn the power on while holding the stop button, and also try the reset button if that doesn't work. Those are just a couple tips there that might get you going. And when you do initially power on, it will also take another couple minutes, so do not panic again. Okay, then you can swing over to Tech Rep mode, which is just utility display keypad, stop 00, stop 01. Go inside where it says firmware version, and you could check and make sure that your firmware that you just installed correctly. So you can just go through the menu items 1 through 6 and just make sure everything is installed correctly. Alright, so everything looks good on this machine. So we'll go ahead and exit out of this menu. And then you can also go into System 2, also make sure your hard drive is still installed. Some people do have issues after they install firmware where their hard drive is not installed. So just check that right up top here. And everything looks good to go. Okay, now that you've confirmed your hard drive is installed, you are pretty much good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video for today. That was just some tips and tricks on how to install firmware correctly. If you have any questions, please email us in our email, info@supertex3.com. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day.